Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
Right now, I am drinking a nice glass of Malbec or Malbec. I don't really know how you pronounce it. I know it's pronounced Malbec, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's Malbec. Listen, if you're a wino right now, please don't at me in the messages or in the comments. I don't care if I mispronounce it. I just know I like it. Salud. My favorite red wine is Merlot, but Malbec's good. It's really good. December 1st. This is the date that I'm recording this episode. My daughter's 20th birthday was yesterday, November 30th. And so I've been doing a lot of, thinking. I'm a very pensive person, if you haven't figured that out by now. But I'm very blessed. I have 4 children. My oldest is 20. Kirsten turned 20 years old. And so when I'm looking at having a child that is no longer a teenager and is an adult, a very young adult, but still an adult now. And I remember being that age. I remember when I was 20. And I've been thinking a lot about my kids. You know, with my daughter's birthday, I've been thinking about all my kids. And I usually do think a lot about my kids, but I've been thinking a lot about my kids. Like a lot. And one of the things that I'm realizing the older I get, it's how do I say this? You start relying on your family in different ways, in new ways. You start discovering the things that you need in this life come from your balance at home life, family life at home, family life and your other family members as well. But it really does start at home, those that you keep close to you. And I need that. I need that in my life. I need that love. I need that support. I need that connection. Even though I'm very strict with my kids in certain ways, I try to balance it with being steadfast in how I pay attention to their feelings and their emotions, or the way they're interacting with their lives. You know, I try to be in tune with that. I try to let them know, because I need it. You know, I'm getting to a point in my life where I'm realizing that I need to rely on that connection like it's fuel for my heart, for my soul. And that type of connection, you know, I'm starting to discover that I also need and rely on that with people that I keep close to me that aren't blood related, or maybe they're not family. You know, I love them like family. You know, those really close people, those bonds, those friendships. I rely on that shit like fuel. You know, it fuels me. It gets me going. You know, having my daughter celebrate her birthday away. She's away with her mother and brother and her boyfriend. They all went away. They're out of the country. So when my daughter comes back, obviously, when my kids come back, we'll get to spend and celebrate her birthday. But, you know, that still didn't stop me from reflecting. And like, I really do rely on my children for that. And I rely on my friends for that. And I rely on my wife more than anybody for that. The relationship that I've created as an adult with my mom, like obviously as a child, I forged and created a relationship with my mom created that relationship with me as a child. And then as an adult, I reciprocated that energy and that love because of how well of a job she did. And so I'm really hoping that as my kids, the rest of my kids continue to get older, and they reach those milestones like 20, 21, 25, the work that I put in with them as their father since they were babies, and our two little girls, Alexandra and I, the work that we've put in with them since they were babies, that they'll start to reciprocate that back to us, because I need that shit. And that's where I'm at in my life. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today, is that love, that bond, that people start to look for. They call it their tribe, they call it their people, their clique, their brotherhood, their sisterhood, whatever term you want to use. You're looking for something that's going to fuel you, that gives you what you need to continue to maintain and sustain. And so it's important, I think it's important to recognize what benefits you and use that as fuel, and anything else that's not helping you, don't use it. Because the negative shit doesn't really fuel you, it takes away. It drains you. And so I've just been really pensive. I was 22 years old when I found out I was going to be a dad for the first time. And I turned 23, and then my daughter was born, my oldest. So I was 23 when Kirsten was born, and here I am 43 years old. And I'm never going to sit here and act like I have so much history and experience. But this isn't new to me, but yet it is. And I think that's the beautiful thing about life, is no matter how much you know and how much people may rely on you because of the experience and your wisdom and the advice that you can offer, you're still learning yourself. You're never at the top of this mountain. And I feel like that's why I need that bond with people that I love, because I need it, because it keeps you going through life, through this journey. And yeah, I've just been real pensive. My God, wrapping up the fall and going into winter now, entering December, Christmas is now, Christmas is here. And, I remember last year at this time, I was interviewing my mom for my first Christmas special. And it's always around this time of year that I get very lost in my feels and my thoughts. I do a lot of reflecting. But I never really thought about like the love that I'm searching for, that I need. The relationship I have with my wife. That is like the top tier fuel that I must have. And I'll tell you why, because you know what it's like when when you've got something good with somebody that you love in so many different ways, that when there's something wrong and you guys aren't clicking, that fuel that you're relying on, you still have it, but it's just, it's not hitting right. It don't feel right. And so you need to fix it because you rely on that. Like I would be a fool if I said that I don't rely on the energy and the love that my wife gives me. I would be a fool to say that. I don't think I depend on my wife to love me. I depend on the work that her and I put into our marriage. The outcome of that, I rely on that. And that's fair. That's, that's enjoying the fruits of our labor, the work that we put into our marriage. Like, the fruits of that, I depend on heavily. And I know that my wife depends on it as well. And so when we're not right, when we have our off days just like any other couple. And I know some of you understand what I'm talking about. It don't feel right, and I could be stubborn, and I can wade in the waters of stubbornness for a while, but after a while I'm gonna come around, because I need my lady's love. I need that closure. I need that fuel for my spirit. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. When I interviewed Todd Smith, he talked about he just wants to surround himself with people that are offering something more than status quo. There needs to be something more that benefits him, that makes him want to be a better person. That's the same thing that I'm talking about here. It's what are we giving each other that's helping each other grow? That fuel is very important at this point in my life. And I don't want to say it's, a midlife crisis. I think a lot of people experience something like this at different points in their life. You could experience it in your 20s when you realize it. And if you fucking experience that and realize that in your 20s, God bless you. Because I wish I did. But there's some people that don't get that and don't realize that until they're in their 50s and 60s. And if so, God bless them too. At least they finally got it. The goal really is to realize how important we are to one another, and how much the energy that we put into one another is valued. And I appreciate everybody that's been in my life, those that are consistent right now and those that haven't really been involved. There's no love loss for me. Things happen the way that they happen, and I'm learning to be at peace with that. But I've also appreciated everybody's involvement in my life, and I value all of that energy, and I use that as fuel as well. But my game plan from this point on in my life really is to start studying and focusing more on the love and commitment I have to myself, my wife, my children, and the family and friends around that circle. Continue and maintain it, and build off of that energy and feed off of that fuel. And there's still times where I'm wondering could I do this better? Am I doing enough? There's times where I wonder, should I be going back to church? Should I? Does it matter? And then there's times where I miss it, and there's times where I don't. I bring that up because I'm just like everybody else. I have my moments of uncertainty with things in my life. I don't have all of my ducks in a row. I don't have all the answers for these questions. A lot of people, when they come to the podcast and they sit down, they're like, "Yeah, this is like therapy." And I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, "Damn, this is therapeutic for me." And I'm hoping that people listen to this, at least get something from that. I think the best thing that you got to keep doing is just to not stay stagnant. Keep pushing yourself, moving, work towards something, build something with somebody. If you have children and you're not in their lives, start over, build something with your kids. So yeah, that's the thing I really wanted to share. I really wanted to share it with you all this episode. Episode 50. I made it to fucking 50. Look, to me, this is a big fucking deal. And I'll tell you why. I never thought about episode 50 when I first started this. I was just thinking, don't fuck this up. I was just thinking, don't forget to hit record. 50 episodes. And I'll be honest, that's a half and half. That's half of me loving what I'm doing and just staying consistent. The other half is like all of the love and the listening on your part, on the listener's part, the sharing, the kind words that people are sharing with me when they talk to me about my podcast, and I'm genuinely appreciating it. I'm hoping it's not lip service, and I don't believe for the most part that it is. I believe everybody when they're telling me that they listen, and I'm grateful. That to me is fuel. Just reciprocating that love and energy. It's like, let's put it back into the earth and let's just see what grows. I'm going to take a quick break here. Pardon me. I'm a little parched. I've been literally holding that glass for the past 5 minutes waiting to take that drink. And so Christmas is around the corner. Let's just call it what it is. I know it's a month away, but it's not really. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning and it's Christmas Eve and you're going to be stressing that you did not get the gifts that you wanted to get. Let me be the first person to say this. If we're going to talk about fuel and we're going to talk about what drives us and what we need to motivate us, what we need to maintain and sustain, let's talk about the fact that it's okay to want to buy the people you love gifts and shit. I know that the reason for the season is not gifts. And there's different beliefs and different religions at this time of year. It's not just Christmas. You have Hanukkah, you have Kwanzaa, you have Three Kings Day. I understand that there's a lot more at play here at this time of year. But the reason why I started to say it's okay to stress over these things, because we're normal, we're human beings. And there's always going to be a want to get the people that you love something from you, especially your kids or your nieces and nephews or your grandchildren, or the people that mean so much to you. And this time of year, it's a very magical season. And I know a lot of you don't agree with me. And I know a lot of you do. And we'll get to that. But it's a very magical time of year. So that feeling, it's okay. It's okay. You're human. You can feel like that. Here's the problem. Have your moment and then remember one thing. There's a lot of other things that you could be stressed out about. So don't get carried away with it. Do what you can. Obviously stay in your budget. But remember that the energy and the love and the atmosphere around this time of year, when you're gathering with your friends and your family and you're just reminiscing about previous holidays, previous winters, the Christmases, the Hanukkahs, the Three Kings, the Kwanzas, the memories that come from all of those previous seasons. That's the kind of shit that you should be looking forward to. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. And so my heart goes out to you this season because you need that type of fuel in your life. And you're missing out. It isn't so much the corny ass holiday music, which, the older I get, the more I enjoy, even though it's corny, because I love this time of year. But it's not just that. It's just important to know. It's important to know that there's many other different ways to feed your spirit. And when it comes to a time like this where everything is just so magical, it's okay to get lost in the hustle and bustle, but don't forget to pull yourself out. Just remind yourself. There are people that don't have that. There are people that don't get to experience this. It could be a lot worse. You're safe, your family safe, God willing. But, I'm not a big believer in shitting on people for wanting to go extra for Christmas, I have kids. I don't like to go splurging on them because I don't want them to get spoiled, but I'd be lying to you if I said around this time of year, of course I want to just get my kids the shit that I wish I could always get them. I want them to have memories of that thrill of opening a gift. Of course, everybody has that. Just don't rely on that to fuel your spirit. Making your kids laugh and hearing them laugh around this time of year, that's the shit that I rely on. Listening to my wife laugh. Listening to my mom and my sister laugh. My family, the conversations and jokes and good times, that's what I'm looking forward to this time of year. And so I always try to keep everybody else in my prayers as the general audience, so to speak, of people, and just say, God bless you all. I hope you all have a moment this season to feel refueled. What a time to be alive right now. And I mentioned, I said we were going to get back to this. So let's talk about this. I wasn't always so jovial and jolly around this time of year. I was in a pretty dark place for a while. And it wasn't so much my divorce. It was just my overall experience in life as an adult. I didn't really want to dwell on shit during the holidays. I always enjoyed it for my kids. I think I always looked at it through my kids' eyes, and I could appreciate it that way. But, I was just always just really on some I just don't want to talk about Christmas. I don't want to celebrate it because it was always so stressful. You know what I mean? Because as much as people like to buy shit, some people can go above and beyond and go ridiculous with it, and it becomes stressful. And then you spend the money you don't have. You're inviting more stress into your life when the bills start coming in a couple months later. And so I had built this this preconceived notion like Christmas was just stress. And that's really an unfortunate thing. And I'm grateful, when I met my wife, she was the complete opposite. And she really took me out of that funk just by doing little things. That's all. Because at the end of the day, you don't ever really want to have any type of disdain or bitterness for something in your life. You're tainting your spirit, your soul. You're tainting it, man. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I know I'm parched again. I'm a little parched. Yeah, I don't know if this is making any sense to anybody. When I do these little journey things, it's a little different for me. It's a little different than doing an interview. Obviously, because I'm sitting alone and I'm bouncing ideas off of myself, but I'm also sitting alone and starting to come to grips with some of these thoughts and emotions in real time, like as I'm recording. So it's just weird. But I know, like, when I play it back and I listen to it, I know that I'm delivering the message that I wanted to deliver. You know, I don't know. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading? Who are you listening to? Who are you watching? What are you consuming into your mind, body, and soul? And how is it nurturing your mind, body, and soul? So anyway, I know I like to keep these pretty short, only because I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk for a whole damn hour. Now, don't get me wrong. If I really want to go in on something, I can do an hour easy. Not giving a shit what anybody thinks. I literally have zero fucks in both of these pockets right now. I'm just saying, I don't think anybody wants to hear me go that long all the time. So with that being said, listen, I've got some new interviews coming to wrap up this holiday season, to wrap up this year. I look forward to starting the brand new year of 2023 with some great guests and some more journey episodes. Because I like sharing my thoughts as much as I love sharing these interviews. I really do like talking to you and just sharing how I'm feeling and sharing what I'm thinking. And if you get it, cool. If you don't, my bad. But I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've done things before in the past that I've loved, and I stopped. I stopped because I got scared. I got complacent. I got bored. I got distracted. And I know what that feeling feels like. And this podcast and the energy I'm putting into it and the time and moments I put into it, what I get out of it is fuel tenfold. So trust me when I tell you that this benefits me so much. And I hope that you find benefit in this podcast as well. With that, I bid you adieu. I don't know what that means. I think it's French. I'll have to look it up. I'm lying. I'm gonna completely forget after I turn this off. But maybe you can look it up and you can tell me what the fuck I just said. And if you were listening to this episode and drinking a little something of your own, hopefully there's some more in the glass, because I would like to say salute. And I'm going to take one more sip of mine that wonderful red Malbec. There we go. Oh man, remember to maintain focus and stay continuous through all 4 seasons. My name is Felix C. Arroyo. These are the Journeyman Chronicles. You be safe.